No, let's see. Everything. So, can this be? You can stand here. Maybe. Go away, stuff. Okay. And then we sit like this. Fuck off. And then we do that, we do this. Fucking Minecraft music hype. Okay, that's more or less done. We go away from that. Yes. What news? Well, firstly, something Aoutosport will explain. Mercedes grab Rasta from Ferrari in F1 staff swoop. Yeah, Mercedes need everyone they can get because they are so washed. Then yeah, P1's prediction. Let's see if they will predict anything good for the Australia GP Grand Prix. Then could it be something more? I don't know. But we will be continue, or I will continue the mining, maybe not mining so much, but fixing a lot. And while we are going there, we can see what the Aoutosport have to say.
In an interesting twist in Formula 1, Mercedes have now captured 2 senior Ferrari team members to join their Formula 1 team. Ferrari's former chief designer Simone Resta and Enrique Sampo, Ferrari.
Oh, okay, they just writing, in the title they just have Resta, so only Resta matters, question mark.
Ferrari's driver simulator team leader. Hello, I'm Bryn Lucas, and joining me to talk through this story in all its glory is John Noble. Now, John, it seems like pretty much every day we have a conversation, doesn't it? But as everyone's focusing in on the driver market, it seems like other teams, Mercedes, are looking slightly elsewhere. It's a great coup, isn't it, for Mercedes?
Yeah, I think it shows it's not all one-way traffic. I think, you look from the outside and Ferrari grabbed hold of Lewis Hamilton. Then there was talk about them looking after more engineers. There's clause in Lewis's contract, the non-poaching agreement that stops a lot of Lewis taking staff with him to Maranello. Then we heard that Jerome D'Ambrosio, who's kind of been one of Toto's kind of lieutenants at the team. Some people even talked about him, potential future team boss. He's leaving the team. Decided he didn't want to. Him and his family didn't want to stay in England. It wasn't working. They want to go back to.
Wait, why? England is so good. If you ask Peter Wisseur, it's the best place you can ever live, close to everything. In Formula 1, maybe.
To Europe, but we understand he's on his way to Ferrari. So everything looked like it was a one-way street, but this is actually quite significant. It shows that Ferrari...
Wait, but... Oh. Wait, what? So... Where will he go? Germany?
Isn't having everything that Mercedes has done quite well. It's got especially Simone Resta, former chief designer of the team, a long-serving Ferrari man, understands how that team works, what makes his car quick. He'll be one of the 2 key figures coming across.
Yeah, you mentioned Ambrosio. He was a former team principal before, wasn't he, in Formula E? So he was, as you say, probably earmarked by Toto. But what would these roles be once they take up their positions at Mercedes?
So Resta's joining as Strategic Development Director. That's his official title. He's going to work kind of hand in hand with James Allison, Technical Director. I guess just pushing on with projects and with one eye to the future. We're in a phase of Formula One now where teams not only have to concentrate on this year's car and the development and how that rolls into 25, but 26 is...
Mercedes have done neither of them. That's great start.
Moving fast. Teams can't start official aero work yet on the 26 cars, but they'll be thinking about it. They'll need to be planning. They need to get their resources right. They need to get everything sorted. And in Simone Resta, James Allison's got some vast experience, understands how things works. Most recently has technical director, who's loaned out by Ferrari. So he's wise with how the stresses and strains and planning needed in Formula One. So he'll be a big boost to James Allison. And Rico Sampo's joining as head of performance software applications. He was basically head of Ferrari's simulator project, and simulators are now key kind of weapon in an armory of a Formula One team. They need to get all their pre-weekend setups done, development on race weekends. You hear stories about Mercedes. Mick Schumacher will be in the sim till 3 a.m, churning through setups and developments and processes. So absolutely critical to get that. Ferrari's got this Dynisma simulator, one of the best we hear in the world. So all that knowledge coming to Mercedes will be a big boost to them.
Big boost? Do you mean they're so washed before this, or what do you mean? Why is it a big boost?
Head of Performance Software Applications is not the catchiest of titles, is it? I can think of slightly better ones. I'm not sure even if it cuts down to something quite amusing, but there we go. Now, when will these two be able to start on their roles? Because presumably they're not going to be able to leave before Australia, or maybe even this season, I'm guessing.
No, F1 loves a good bit of kind of gardening leave. There's a lot of latency these times when things happen.
So this will only be good for Mercedes in 2026.
And so we see this often in Formula One. Ferrari last year signed Loic Serra, one of Mercedes' performance directors, and Fred Vasseur said at the time that I've signed this guy. This was 2023. He can't join to 25, and it'll be the same here. Both have agreed contracts, will be joining Mercedes, but they're locked down to their current contracts this year. They'll be joining some point in 25, but as far as I understand it, no firm date yet sent. But I think Mercedes will be hoping it's January the 1st.
Yeah, gonna have to get their spades out, aren't they, and start enjoying the outside for a bit. Now, they would have been headhunted for a reason. What will they both be bringing to Mercedes?
I think it's the kind of expansion of ideas and understanding. Teams, it's all about...
I mean, Ferrari actually did that car that was good 2022, half good 2023, and probably good again 2024. And Mercedes have done a lot of nothing.
Understanding where Formula Ones are heading, there's small marginal differences in different organisations, and it's bringing all those ideas and information together just to work out, are there areas that Mercedes can learn from Ferrari? Are there areas that Resta can come in and see that needs to be done better? I think Mercedes has been a team that's been very, very open to bringing people from outside and making the most of them. We saw it with Aldo Costa, came from Ferrari. James Allison himself, ex-Ferrari man, came to Mercedes. So they'll aim to make the most of them, get the input, and hopefully it'll all push things forward nicely for them.
There was a bit of confusion, I'm sure you can fill in the blanks here, when Simone Resta was recalled to Ferrari from Haas at the start of this year, back end of January. Is this now cleared up, that confusion?
I think so. It was quite a mystery, because it was I remember how the story panned out, that we had the announcement that Günther Steiner was leaving as team principal in the morning, and then we kind of knew it was coming, and then suddenly we also found that Resta had left as technical director. So it was all a bit mysterious. Ferrari was saying nothing, so we weren't sure if it's being pulled on to another project, was being pulled back to the F1 team. It all went silent, but I think we've now found out what was really going on.
It's nice when all the bits of the puzzle fall into place, isn't it? Now, it's not all a one-way street, though, is it? Because Ferrari have also been taking some staff from Mercedes too.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, D'Ambrosio, we understand is going to be heading up their young driver program. It's a project that he did at Mercedes. He came in, kind of understood how the team worked, was looking after helping with young drivers. So a lot of work that James Vowles had done in his previous role prior to him joining Williams. So, but as I said, his basically for personal reasons, he didn't want to stay in the UK. He wanted to go back to mainland Europe. So he's been looking at opportunities, and the Ferrari chance has come up, and he'll be shifting.
Oh, so
Shifting there, but
okay, so they're switching. Okay, that would mean with the swap. So one will have a good life in Ferrari, and one will have a bad life in Mercedes.
Obviously, you know, the big Mercedes staff man, if you want to call it that they got was Lewis Hamilton. Obviously a big move for Ferrari, big move for Lewis, and I think it's put a lot of the focus and spotlight on these two teams, especially with Toto Wolff and Fred Vasseur, you know, former flatmates in effect, because they lived together in the UK for a little bit when Fred came over to work for Renault. So I think they've got a good balance between friendship and rivalry, but I think in Formula One there's no love lost when it comes to getting hold of the best staff.
Healthy rivalry, that's a good kind of way, is it? That's the good kind of rivalry. Now, very quickly, will this have a knock-on effect up and down the paddock with other senior members moving on? Is this silly season not concerning drivers?
I don't know if there'll be a wider. I don't know if there'll be wider impact elsewhere. I just think it's symptomatic of a team needing to kind of Mercedes itself. You want signs that things are moving forwards. You want signs that improvements are being made to push onwards. And let's not forget, in the background, Mercedes is a double aim going forward with improving this car at the moment. That to get the results this season, but you know there remains a chance that Max Verstappen could be on the market.
Yeah, they really need to make a good car now. I mean, you haven't Lewis Hamilton. Why make a good car when you can make a good car when he is left and Max Verstappen could, for some reason, join you?
The end of this year. But as Toto Wolff says, the only way they can attract someone like Max Verstappen is by giving them the best car. At the moment, Red Bull has the best car. So they want to push forwards. And if you're trying to convince Max that, come on, we're getting things in place for the future, everything's going to improve, we know what's happening, then you've got, you know, Toto signed his new contract, James Allison signed his new contract. You've now got two senior Ferrari guys have come on board. And what it could do is, you know, lead to other people thinking, actually, this is a team that's moving places.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if that opportunity does open up, if Max decides that Red Bull isn't the place for him, they would welcome with open arms.
I'm sure they would. You know, I know somebody who's written a really nice article, and in fact a video has been produced as well, all about Max moving away from Red Bull. Well, thanks very much.
It can't be from you, because that would be so shit.
John, it's going to be interesting to see how it all...
Or if he's talking about the video they have just released, then still shit.
...plays out when the music stops, isn't it? There's so many drivers who have got their contracts ending at the end of this season, so it's going to be a fascinating few months. And don't forget, you can catch up with all Formula One stories here at Aoutosport and other sports as well. Make sure you hit subscribe, and we'll keep you today.
Will not. Okay, so that was that. Wow. I thought it will bring something more, but well, it was just 9 minutes. Weird. Okay, for more so fun stuff, let's see the prediction.
Our predictions for the 2024
My prediction is Max win, Leclerc P2, maybe Perez P3, but it will be nice to see McLaren P3. So either Piastri or Norris.
Australian Grand Prix. Right, let's get into our predictions then, shall we? Have we been getting the spices out this week? Let's find out. Biggest good surprise. I have gone for
Charles Leclerc.
Esteban Ocon. Yep, from a step up from the, well, quite literal nightmare of Bahrain, I think, for Alpine, to then, okay, Ocon, little 13th, I see you. It's gonna be there. I'm not gonna say terms. I'm not gonna say no. I was about to say it, and then I was like, I'm gonna regret it if he finishes 11th. But that I think is still gonna be surprising for Alpine.
Actually, true. Or just finish the race. Both cars finish the race is a surprise.
So I think they're gonna be not great. Don't get me wrong, but fighting for a point.
Biggest good surprise. I've gone for Oscar Piastri. I just feel like he's had a great start to the season. McLaren got a pretty good result there last year, even though they were terrible starting the year, and they're, better this year than they were last year. And yeah, Oscar's driving really well, and I hope for his sake that he does have a good race because, yeah, it'd be fantastic to see at his home track.
Biggest flop?
Haas.
Okay, so I'm 2 from 2 right now. And I've printed out the blueprints. And we're going to continue with the trend. Sergio Perez.
Oh, for God's sake.
I am 2 from 2.
This is cheating.
How is it cheating? I'm referencing last year. I've not seen the races this year. However, why not? Why not go for what I went for last year? And I just think Perez, he's had a great start to the year, and it's likely to go wrong at some point. So let's flop it where I flopped it last year and bag myself an easy point.
He did
have
a pretty bad.
If he finishes any lower than second, that's a flop in my opinion.
For God's sake. Yeah, true.
Oh, P3, so...
Loopholes.
The loopholes. Left, right and centre. Biggest flop. I've just realised something, but I've gone for Daniel Ricciardo.
No!
I hope I'm wrong on this one, but...
My prediction, he will get points. The fuck?
He's not having the best of times at the moment. And the Australian Grand Prix has been a bit of a cursed race for him as well. I want to say that he's never scored a podium there. I know that for a fact. The only time he did and finished in a good second place, he ended up getting disqualified, and he's just had a bad time there really. So I feel like there is going to be a lot of pressure on him based on how he started the season. I saw there were comments in the Australian media about his start, and a lot of like old school Australian F1 drivers sort of saying that, oh, it's, is he finished and all this, and I hope he proves me wrong.
He's not
based
finished.
On my biggest flop,
he
they normally do quite well. So
yeah, podium this year, and he's been around the block enough to be able to deal with Australian old drivers saying he's washed and stuff. I mean, We're back with another predictions video, which means we're also back with our sponsor, Surfshark VP.
I don't care about this sponsor. They can go and fuck themselves. Oh my god. Such a long ad.
It's a coupon code P1 for an extra 3 months free at surfshark.deals/P1. Pole position.
Leclerc.
I've properly gone into the depths of my brain right now, which isn't very deep. I am going for
Charles Leclerc.
Max Verstappen. So I've finally unlocked. Yeah, I've unlocked some IQ here, and gone. Why are you throwing away points just for banter here? Tommy's just racking up little points here and there. I'm going for wild little pole position. And this is when Charles Leclerc does get pole, and I'll be then crying in the post-race podcast that the one time I didn't go for him, he got pole. But no, Max is getting pole. And that because Max is very good at doing Grand Prix racing.
It's so funny. It's so funny when we have to explain why with Max Verstappen. We're like, why have you gone for first? Why have you gone for pole position? Why have you gone for world champion? Have you watched Formula One? Pole position, I've also gone for Max Verstappen.
What?
Yeah, I just see this one being a
washed
clear
opinions.
pole for Max. Charles Leclerc obviously has done very good in qualifying. Ferrari are looking very good this year, but I just not seeing it. I think it's funny that we've gone for Max. It seems quite boring, but I think that's the first time you've predicted Max this year. So
it is. Okay, interesting. A couple of Maxes for pole. What about our top 3? In third position, I have gone for Carlos Sainz. He's going to come back, fire in his belly. Carlos, after seeing Ollie Behrman in his seat, is going to be like, absolutely not. Get away from that. I've got at least this year No, I've got at most this year, sorry,
Yeah.
to go. And I'm going to enjoy every single weekend from here on in that Ferrari.
He isn't that good. Come
Get a
on.
podium, and everyone's going to mark it amazing
Scorpion.
because he's come back from surgery to stick it on the podium.
So my P3, I have gone all in and gone Oscar Piastri for a podium in the Australian Grand Prix. It'd be a massive story actually, because I want to say off the top of my head, I don't think Mark Webber got.
Ett nytt spännande avsnitt av veckans agenda är här.
Skip that tie.
Podium. So I don't think an Australian has got a podium in Australia for. I'm pretty sure Mark Webber hadn't been on the podium either. I'm sure he had a pretty bad time at the Australian Grand Prix. I could be completely wrong, and he's won like 6 races there, but I want to say that he didn't get podiums. I think he'd be the first Australian podium finisher in a long time.
Yeah, I'm seeing
We are
Mark Webber
checking.
on the podium at the 2002 F1 Australian Grand Prix.
Well,
Is that-
technically that was not
get
a podium
disqualified,
because no, he so that was Minardi when he basically finished 5th, and it was such a good result for Minardi. They were like, get him on the podium for a
Oh, right,
celebration.
okay. Look, that's the encyclopedic knowledge that we absolutely love from you. That's fair. Okay, cool. All right, in which case, no, I don't think he did get a podium. So well done.
So
to
yeah,
him.
I don't think it would have been years then. Probably, yeah, like I guess probably Jack Brabhams or something. So it'd be an amazing story if he does it.
Yeah, maybe.
What a story it would be if he did
Are
it.
you
And
envisaging? Is this chaos or a McLaren legitimate?
No, just McLaren
pacey-
just being good, and I hope it's true. I mean, I'd love a bit of chaos as well. So
Men
I'm
det är
a bit
bättre än
chaos.
Mercedes, så
And
true.
anything, because otherwise it's going to be a Twitch watch along. It's going to be one of those Twitch streams where it's just a sleeping stream.
Yeah.
Right, in second place, I have gone for Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, hi.
Because that is first place in
But I still don't believe Sainz P3. Oh wait, I can believe it if Perez have a bad race. But I will believe more Norris or Piastri P3.
a lot of people's eyes. So he is technically going to get a win in second place. Don't ask me how, but he's gonna have a great. Ferrari is still, in my opinion, the second fastest car,
God damn it.
and I think both Ferrari drivers will outperform Sergio Perez this weekend.
I do not, because I've gone P2 Sergio Perez. I think he's going to continue his good start to the season, and I'm saying this despite the fact that you've predicted him biggest flop, so he has absolutely no hope. And
Surprised
we'll
you haven't changed it, to be fair.
So fingers crossed, Sergio Perez keeps having his good start to the season that he has had.
Okay. Fingers crossed for your prediction, or fingers
Yes,
crossed for
Perez
Formula
can
One?
Easily be
I
P.
don't really know. It's probably
don't
well.
care.
I don't think it's really fingers crossed for a Red Bull one.
P2.
Let's be honest, is it?
No,
I don't
no,
think
it's
many
really
people
not.
are hoping for that one.
Okay, cool. And
What
in
is-
first
Yeah, Rabbit.
position,
Max
here we go.
Verstappen.
Max
Kevin Magnusson.
Verstappen. Max Verstappen. Of course, Max Verstappen. Can we just insert reasonings from previous?
I can't you can. I mean, what could you say? He's in the worst car. The worst team. I mean, his doomsday team is finished. The team will probably... Yeah, the news... They said Max will, for some reason, say he will go to Mercedes before or under the Australia race. Eller weekend. So, Red Bull, it will be the doomsday week. So, after this race, the team will be finished. So there is no reason for him to win anymore.
Predictions videos and just like copy and paste it, because Max Verstappen is going to probably win 31 races in a row by the end of this year. Can we just
It's like on Twitch
In
when
a
you can do a
doomsday team.
command that just explains a reason, like exclamation
Exclamation
mark
mark
Y
Max,
Max, and then
Yeah.
it just says because, like we said earlier.
Because Christian Hornet.
Yeah, I mean, I pray in all of my heart that Charles Leclerc wins the Australian Grand Prix. It will take me back to 2022, where at the end of that, God, I was so...
Man, 2022. That was really nice year. Ferrari, Red Bull, fighting together. The best part, Mercedes is super washed. And then... Did France happen after that? Or did something more happen? Because then he just went... Man, he could have maybe won in France.
Cocky. 34 points clear in the World Championship. Charles Leclerc led the World Championship.
And
that
then
wasn't
he
even to
didn't.
bloody Max Verstappen. That was to blooming George Russell.
And now we're here with P1, Max Verstappen as well. Again, reasons why. It'd be 10 in a row, wouldn't it?
Yes.
You can't win every race. We've not said that this year.
Yeah, it was...
Actually true. Hello, wait. He can win every race. He probably will not win every race. And hopefully at least 2 wins for Ferrari or 3. And the best and the most Scorpion for me. A Norris win. That would be beautiful. His first win. And hopefully not the last one.
Starting it now.
I know, but I just
win
because
every
he
race.
can't, right? But
Surely
He can.
not. But I just
Kind
don't think
of
Australia's
is.
one that...
He can win
kind
every
of
race.
is, and Australia is one that could be a bit
But the possibility
chaotic.
for that
I
is
saw an
low.
absolutely bonkers stat that in the last 25 races, Max Verstappen has won the same number of races as Kimi Raikkonen's entire career. That is absolutely ridiculous.
And let's move to our one crazy prediction. So this is interesting because it kind of counteracts a little bit of what you've predicted, Tommy. Because my crazy prediction is that all the Aussies won't do well. So that is Piastri, Ricciardo, and
will.
Bottas will all not do well this weekend. It will be up for discussion as to what well is, but
Why are you hoping for that when I can be... I mean, I record the first point for Visa Cash App RB Formula 1 team. And then maybe a podium for Piastri. Why not hoping for that?
obviously going along with the Bottas joke of, was it Australian GP
Yeah, and
putting up
everyone-
an ad with Bottas in it?
Everyone remember that he's locked it in now. So when Piastri and Ricciardo
That's
retire,
why
and
the reason I
Bottas,
don't want to mine here.
yeah, then it doesn't count. You don't get your point.
No, I'll get 2/3 of the point.
You'll be claiming he's not actually Australian then.
Yeah.
Like, no,
I
it was a
saying
joke.
It was a joke. Yeah, it was a joke.
Yeah.
Okay, for disclaimer, it was a joke.
So Bottas will have a really bad race. Nice.
Unless it comes in, it was a joke. What's yours, Tommy?
Mine is that Alex Albon makes Q3. Something a bit different. Little.
That something I was also hoping for. Williams and Visa Cash App RB Formula 1 team both get 1 point. Not 1 point, but they get points in this race. So Stroll will be washed. No surprise there. Maybe Hamilton even more washed.
Albon masterclass. It's been a while since he's kind of done something. So why not?
Okay, interesting. Let's now go to 3 crazy predictions from you, wonderful lot. First comes in from Slosh 4000. There will be contact between Yuki and Danny.
Ooh.
Yes, they can maybe have a contact. But will they?
That would be spicy.
That would pop off. I love a little Yuki team radio. Frowning Freeman, Lando Pope.
That will probably happen after after the race, when Ricciardo gets his first point for the team, and then Yuki Tsunoda maybe brake test him.
Podium. Okay, so we got a different McLaren on the podium from Frowning Freeman and Lando. And finally, Rodaf 1899, Max DNF. I feel like that has come in at least 3 or 4 times over the last year, and not once has it actually come in. So look, we'll keep going until it does, and thank you, Rodda, for putting that into the atmosphere, and maybe we'll just see an interesting race. But maybe Max will be off the pace, and we'll all have a lovely little ding-dong 6-way fight for the win, and Alonso down the inside takes the victory in the final corner or something. That is it. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. We appreciate you. We'll be live on Twitch for qualifying and the race, yes. So please come and join us. Matt, P1, Tommy, set your alarms if you're in Europe, please. Please come and join us. We'll make it worth your while. And of course, all the content you are used to seeing. Also, P1 live show tickets are still available. Please go and get those if you haven't already. Links are all over our social media, and we will see you very soon. Lots of love. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so let's see. They wanted. Oh, they. Oh shit! Who shows Piastri? Okay, was it? Okay, who cares? So Verstappen, Perez, Piastri. That could happen. Then was Carlos Sainz and Leclerc, but I think more. Wait, the second prediction. There we have it. Oh, we had it. God damn it, there. This I will believe more. Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz. But I think, yeah, Verstappen P1. Leclerc P2. But I would wanna put Lando Norris och Piastri in P3. Let's see. What can we more? Let's see, we can have a nice list. Yeah, Max P1, some P2 Leclerc, P3. I mean, Lando Norris or Piastri. Then we have maybe Sainz or Perez P4 or P5. Then we P6 for maybe Norris or Piastri. And that would be beautiful. Fernando Alonso P7. Oh, let's see. And then George Russell, and then oh, that could happen. George Russell and Hamilton can maybe crash in together. Then we have Ricciardo and Albon in the points. And no Haas car more in the points. Oh shit. Go away. Oh shit, quiet. Okay, so that was that. Oh, what was... Yeah, this McLaren stuff from the race. I have no idea what this will... Why McLaren can't fix its biggest F1 weakness until 2025. So let's see.
McLaren's start to the 2024 Formula 1 season has been solid but unspectacular. And that's disappointing given hopes it...
I mean, being better than Mercedes is... Is that really that bad? I feel like that's really good stuff.
Might take the fight to Red Bull, having been its closest challenger at times late last year. It's far from being a bad start, scoring 28 points for an early third place in the Constructors' Championship. But the performance level of the McLaren Mercedes MCL 38 in the first 2 events of the season has proved long-standing weaknesses remain, alongside similar strengths to what made the car so quick at times in 2023. The Jeddah track made that emphatically clear given how quick the car was in the fast parts of the track. As team principal Andrea Stella pointed out, it was rapid in the high-speed first sector. Lando Norris set the quickest time of Sector 1 during the Grand Prix thanks to the fast corner strength of the car. But in the second and third sectors, where the slow left-handers of turns 10 and 27 are vital for lap time, the McLaren slipped down the order. Such long, slow corners have long been a problem for McLaren, stretching back to even before the current ground effect regulations were introduced. As Stella explains, the initial turn-in performance is good, meaning the car is competitive enough through, say, short, sharp 90-degree slow corners. But if the turns are significantly longer, the McLaren gives up a little bit. To add to that, the top speed of the McLaren still isn't good enough. In qualifying, it was slowest in the main speed trap located to...
Slowest? Yeah, we have the Haas. What the fuck are they doing? Oh, Red Bull and RB. Man, come on, Ricciardo points hype. Okay, Mercedes are for some reason fast, but bad in everything else. Alpine. So couldn't find top speed. This didn't Alpine show any time, I will say. Why is Ferrari so bad? Weird.
200 metres before the last corner. It was 11.1 kilometres per hour slower than Haas. Even if you disregard Haas, given it was so much faster than any other.
35, so 32.5. So 327.5 to McLaren do.
Other car, McLaren is giving away almost 6 kilometres per hour to Red Bull. This is specifically about the efficiency of its DRS, given the car's top speed is better relative to the opposition when it isn't open. The McLaren also remains a tricky car to drive, just as it has been for many years. Lando Norris once described it as being on a knife edge on a quick lap, and despite the progress McLaren has made with its 2024 car, the characteristics still aren't to his liking. The good news is that McLaren does have upgrades in the pipeline that will tackle its weaknesses in the not too distant future. But the bad news is that Stella admits it's likely at least another one-year journey to complete this exercise of resolving these balance issues. And it's essential McLaren goes through this process. If it's to have a car consistently able to fight for wins, it needs to be an all-rounder. So it needs to improve in long, slow corners, gain more speed when the DRS is deployed, and give the drivers a car they can be more confident in.
Axe Dark Temptation Body Spray.
God damn it, go away, add, please. Damn it, we need to wash all that. No skipping.
Allt är möjligt med en oemotståndligt fräsch doft. Lukta oemotståndlig. The Axe Effect.
Second anti.
So what's McLaren's development plan? Well, there's nothing major planned for the upcoming run of races, with some minor upgrades for the next two events in Australia and Japan worth only a small amount of lap time. However, beyond that, there is a major upgrade planned within the first third of the season. So that would mean either the Miami Grand Prix in early May, which isn't ideal because it's a sprint event, or the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at Imola in the middle of the month. It is hoped this upgrade will make inroads into the slow corner weaknesses in particular. Key to this will be a new front wing. The McLaren front wing concept is very similar in 2024 to the one they finished last season with, as Stella has admitted. So we can expect to see some significant changes at the front of the car. This will tackle a long-standing problem for McLaren, which is aerodynamic struggles when the car is in yaw and significant steering lock is applied. When asked to explain McLaren's slow corner struggles in Bahrain, Stella said it was all about how the car behaved in the more extreme yaw conditions.
See, intro. Okay, so this is what they can do: short-term gains, long-term gains, and Suzuka opportunity. Oh, will that be Norris' first win?
Yaw is the angle at which the car hits the airflow. If you think about a car going through a corner, it's doing so at an angle. In a fast corner, the yaw angle is far smaller than for a slow corner where the car has to rotate significantly more. The increased complexity of the aerodynamic flow field when the car is in yaw makes this more difficult to understand and optimise. And as Stella says, the airflow regime is completely different in fast corners compared to slow corners. So while the McLaren turns much better thanks to the front end in the short, slow corners, once in a longer turn that requires more rotation, once in the corner, the car hits problems because of the more extreme angles the front wing is hitting the air at. Getting this right is all about the fine details of the geometry of the front wing and how it interacts with the rest of the car, in particular the front wheel wake and the front of the underfloor. And it's made doubly complicated given the greater the steering lock, the more disruption from the increasing angle of the front wheels. The front wing upgrade coming around the time of Imola will be a step in the right direction, but even with McLaren's new wind tunnel fully operational, it will only ameliorate the situation. These changes will also make the car more predictable for the drivers, as the inconsistency of the aerodynamics with steering lock applied is a major contributor to the knife edge qualities. But while further developments can be expected after Imola, including more to tackle the top speed deficit that is all about making the DRS work better in conjunction with the rest of the car to augment the effect, it's going to take longer than that to eliminate the weaknesses completely. In the long term, it's all about what Stella characterises as at least a one-year journey. You might assume that's for similar reasons to those cited by Mercedes and Ferrari last year, both of which required some architectural changes to unlock more potential. While for McLaren there may be some minor details in these areas it needs to improve, fundamentally this is an aerodynamic challenge, and the reason it's going to take so long is the enormous complexity of it. If you consider the vast range of conditions the car must run in, that requires a huge amount of aerodynamic testing work to optimise it, and McLaren is limited by the aerodynamic testing restrictions. Last year it finished 4th in the Constructors' Championship, so has less CFD and, crucially, wind tunnel time than the majority of its competitors. So it's working on a complex challenge with restricted resources. That's why it will take time. And these are characteristics the established top teams were tackling far earlier than McLaren, meaning it's still playing catch up from the technical troubles of the last decade or so. And this is particularly crucial for 2026. While McLaren can aspire to win races before then, realistically it's likely to be the major rule changes then that will present the opportunity for it to emerge as a title-winning force. That's why Stella says it's vital for McLaren to show it can understand and fix these problems. And if McLaren can successfully tackle these weaknesses while maintaining its strengths, then in the long term it really could have a world beater of a car. While McLaren is working on all of that back at the factory, the key to it having a successful season is making the most of what it has. And what it has should become a lot clearer over the next 2 races. While Bahrain in particular and parts of the Jeddah track exposed its weaknesses, Australia and Suzuka have recently been stronger circuits. Even during McLaren's poor start to 2023, Norris finished 6th in Melbourne. That was partly thanks to the track lacking the long duration slow corners that proved such a problem, although the late race chaos also played a part. But Suzuka is the key measure. Thanks to a quirk of the calendar, this year's Japanese Grand Prix is just 6 months after last year's. That makes it a far more meaningful measure than a comparison of the early season races. In both Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, McLaren made a big step in terms of pace from 2023 to 2024, the largest of all teams in Bahrain at just over 1.7 seconds and the second most behind RB in Saudi Arabia at almost 1.2 seconds quicker. But last year, these races were before McLaren got its act together. By contrast, by the time F1 got to Suzuka in 2023, McLaren was fast, particularly on such high-speed tracks. There, it was the main challenger to Red Bull, with Norris and Piastri finishing 2nd and 3rd. If McLaren is able to be the lead challenger to Red Bull at times this year, then it will be at a circuit like Suzuka. So in particular, its performance relative to Ferrari, second best at both tracks F1 has visited in 2024 so far, will be crucial to measure. McLaren is still making real progress, but with Red Bull taking a big step forward, just as Stella warned it might back in January, it's going to take more time before it can be expected to be at that level. In the meantime, McLaren has a car that is certainly good enough to be in contention for 3rd in the championship, even if Red Bull and
so Mercedes will be 4th.
Maybe Ferrari will be out of reach. And with Stella setting a timeline of at least 1 year for producing a car that can be an all-rounder, at its best across a wide range of circuits, it's clear there's still some serious ground to be covered if McLaren is to achieve its objective of re-emerging as a title-winning force in F1.
Yeah, what can I say about this? Actually, nothing. Then podiums and a race win from McLaren hype. And hopefully that will happen. Oh, time to change pickaxe. Let's see. Yeah, what more fun can we watch? Ferrari have been watched, that have been watched. I mean, let's see. Yeah, we can watch this. Wanted to. And this is Australian race team, the demise of Brabham Formula 1 team. 1987 to 1992. Let's see what Anna Milward have to say.
It must have been about a month or so ago that I looked at the Lotus team and their demise in the mid-1990s, and how it must have been a sad affair because Lotus sort of, well, they didn't necessarily...
I really hope the Chinese that owns Lotus will try to bring back Lotus into Formula 1 and make it a Chinese team. That would be fun.
Necessarily invent a lot of the stuff that we see in Formula 1 these days, but they were certainly the ones that kind of got it right. Sponsorship, monocoque chassis, wings, ground effect, and they had been experimenting with active suspension in the 80s, which Williams later got right on the FW14B in the early 90s. The irony being that at the point that Williams got the active suspension working, Lotus was in so much financial ruin they couldn't put it on their own cars. Lotus also had names in the team that are in the upper echelons of racing immortality, and Mount Rushmore if Mount Rushmore could have more than 4 people on it. The likes of Clark, Hill, Fittipaldi, Andretti, Senna and Mansell all had a spell at the team, and they also had the likes of Ix and Rint and others come through at one point or another. But there was another team racing in green in the 1960s that also met its end in the 90s, and that team is Brabham. So a quick history lesson just to get us to the turning point where it started to fall downhill for the once legendary team. In 1962, Jack Brabham and his mate Ron Turanak teamed up to build cars with Brabham's name front and centre on them. Motor Racing Developments built these cars, but they were raced under the Brabham name, but the start was slow. In 1962, at its first race, the car retired with an iffy throttle, but by the end of the season, they were scoring points. Dan Gurney later arrived and things began to pick up. It was a team started by engineers and driven by engineers, although in its debut season the car was painted turquoise and yellow rather than green. The way it worked in these days was Motor Racing Development ran the cars in the other categories while the Jack Brabham Racing organisation ran the Formula 1 team. Brabham Racing bought the cars from MRD at around £3,000 per car in 1962 money, with MRD being more involved in Formula 1 by 1966. Turanak handled the design of the cars while Jack was the test driver and handled all the other bits like getting access to the Myra wind tunnel, the deal with Repco and other concerns. In 1964, Dan Gurney won the first race for a Brabham car, and by this point they were selling cars to other teams within Formula 1 and in other categories. By the end of the 1960s they'd produced somewhere in the region of 500 cars, overtaking Cooper as a supplier, if you want to call them that. In 1966 though, a dedicated video for which I've done already, the FIA doubled the engine capacity from 1.5 litres to 3 litres, and Brabham teamed up with Repco to have a dedicated Formula 1 engine built for the cars. Jack, who was now 40 and considered too old and past it to be a front-running driver, won the championship in dominant fashion, taking 4 wins from 9 events to absolutely thrash John Surtees, who finished in second place. This would also mean that Jack was and still is the only driver to win the Formula 1 championship in a car that has his own name on it. The following year, his Kiwi teammate Denny Hulme would also win the title in a Brabham, as the car, although not as dominant as it was previously, was able to take advantage of the Lotus 49 not being as reliable. Brabham had also managed to gain a reputation for being a company that could be relied on and everything was exactly as it said on the tin. If you bought a Brabham car, it was the same one that Jack had, and support for the product was more than any of the other manufacturers like Cooper or Lotus had. In some cases, Jack himself would be helping other teams set the cars up. But in 1970, Brabham retired from racing and sold his shares, which he had 50-50 with Tourenac, to an English businessman who was also the manager of Jochen Rindt. That man was Bernie Ecclestone. I'm not going to go into too much detail because the Bernie years are a video within itself, and Bernie transformed the team into something that fit his vision of how things should be done, and Tourenac would leave because of that. He appointed Gordon Murray as the head designer, and in 1978 the famous fan car appeared, something I've also covered before. A car so good and was such a great interpretation of the rules, Bernie voluntarily withdrew it to keep favour with the Formula One Constructors Association. Under Bernie...
Hang on. It's only a hurdle. It's only a number. It's only a tackle.
Just a number? Really?
Upplev Electrolux 700 skaftdammsugare. Nu med upp till 700 kronor tillbaka.
Brabham then hit a new peak in the 80s, but not without controversy, which, like I say, might need looking at in the future. Because Bernie was the head of FOCA, the other teams accused him of having early access to rule changes and getting a head start on things, and the hydro-pneumatic suspension used to keep the ride height stable also attracted complaints. In 1981, when Piquet won his first championship, they were accused of using ballasted bodywork to dodge having an underweight car, and in 1982, although not cheating per se, they introduced refueling. There's also the water-cooled brakes thing that happened around the same time. In 1983, Piquet won the championship again in a Brabham, but this year was also not without its controversies, because throughout the year Renault and Ferrari accused Brabham of using illegal fuel. The RON rating of them was higher than what it should have been, or things to that effect, which again, need to do a video on that because it's pretty on brand for Bernie, isn't it? But by the time the late 80s rolled around, Brabham started to drop off, a drop-off that also included the death of Elio De Angelis. So we enter now into the final 4 or 5 years of Brabham's existence. In 1988, Bernie sold the team to Walter Brunn, a name you might remember from a while back when I covered the Eurobrunn team. Cream of the crap, I refer to them as, a pun that a few people have told me they quite enjoyed. At this time, the engine deal with BMW was up in the air. BMW wanted out at the end of 1986, but everybody was contracted until 1987. Bernie managed to tie BMW down to 1987, but there was a dispute over which engines they were going to get. Were Brabham going to get these ones, while Arrows got these ones, and bits and pieces like that. But either way, by this point, Bernie had no interest in running the team anymore, as the commercial rights stuff of Formula One demanded more of his attention. Motor racing developments was now in the hands of Walter Brunn, but they wouldn't be on the grid for 1988 because Walter Brunn had his own concerns with his own team in Formula One and sports cars. But within only a few weeks of owning the team, it changed hands again, this time to a Swiss businessman called Joachim Lüthi. I hope I've got that correct because my German, well, it's non-existent. So Brabham was on a bit of a holiday at this point. They would, though, be back for 1989, the Brabham BT58 being driven by Martin Brundle and Stefano Modena. The Judd engine was average, but because the team had been on that break, when they returned they had to go through the pre-qualifying format. As mentioned several times through these history videos, the entry list in 1989 had ballooned to 39 cars, so they had to get rid of 13 of them before Sunday. The team would have a great outing at the Monaco Grand Prix, running best of the rest behind the McLarens of Prost and Senna, but Brundle had to pit to replace a dodgy battery which dropped him to 6th, while Modena finished on the podium, which was Brabham's final visit to the podium. Unlike the other cars, the Brabham had the battery under the driver's seat, so Brundle had to get out of the car so they could replace it, which took a bit longer than the other teams would have taken because they could just take the engine cover off or whatever. The car also ran Pirelli tyres that year, which were brilliant qualifying tyres but dropped off worse than the Goodyears in the race. Later in the season, at races like Silverstone, Hockenheim and Monza, the tyre and power deficit was much more evident and they didn't have the same returns. While the team finished 9th overall and was able to get some Bernie bucks TM at the end of the season, their existence was up in the air. All because of a case of Scheisse, es ist die Polizei, which is the German for, crikey, it's the Rozzers. Lüthi owned this investment firm based in Zurich in Switzerland, which the local constabulary had taken quite the interest in. Basically, he was under investigation and then arrested for embezzling about $130 million or so from 1,700 investors, give or take. While he was arrested and assuming he was released from custody until the court case, he ran away to the United States, which then left a lot of people going, so, Who owns all this stuff again? Enter the Japanese engineering firm Middlebridge. They took over the team in the middle of 1989, not long after Lutti's arrest, meaning that Brabham had been through 3 owners in the space of a year and a half. As things moved into 1990, it was a case of keeping the team and the name alive, as Brabham ran a modified 1989 car for a couple of rounds before showing off the BT59. Gregor Wojtek started the season and then left to go to Onyx. His replacement, which was quite fitting really, was David Brabham. David almost shared the grid with his brother. It would have been a Ralph and Michael Schumacher or the Gonzalez brothers type of situation. But the thing is, when Brabham came onto the grid, his brother Gary had quit the live team, so they just missed each other. Brabham, the team, not David, only scored 2
It could be the
points all
brothers
season.
Team.
Those coming at the season opening US Grand Prix in Phoenix, where Modena finished 5th.
Team.
For the rest of the season, if they were able to make the grid, they often wouldn't finish the race. Going into 1991, it wasn't going to get much better. In 1991, the team ran the BT59Y, an updated version of the previous year's car, because they were now trying to shove a Yamaha V12 into it rather than the Judd V8. Returning to the team was Martin Brundle, and he was teamed up with Mark Blundell, which must have caused some carnage with foreign commentators. After which came the BT60. I think it was only a few races into the season the BT60 came in, and it was bad. Somehow, though, probably due to RNG with reliability from the other cars, Brabham scored 3 points during 1991, taking 1 point from Blundell's 6th place at Spa and Brundle's 2 points in Japan. Both drivers would be off elsewhere in 1992. Brundle was off to Benetton to partner some bloke called Schumacher or something, and Blundell was out of a seat in Formula 1, but he would win the 1992 24 Hours of Le Mans with Peugeot.
Some guy
For 1992, it was a case of when, not if, Brabham went under. At the start of the season, Eric van der Perla and Giovanna Amati were in the car, but after Amati failed to qualify for the first 2 races and her sponsorship dried up, she was replaced by another son of a former Brabham driver, this time Damon Hill. Damon, who was the test driver for Williams at this time, joined the team for the Spanish Grand Prix and failed to qualify 6 times in 8 appearances. Van der Perla, meanwhile, only managed to qualify for 4 races out of his 13 entries. But the money was just drying up. It didn't help matters that the Japanese economy had tanked due to a recession, again, something I need to look at due to the amount of Japanese people involved in Formula 1 at this point, and Brabham also had a car that was barely making the grid, despite a future world champion driver being in one of them. At the Belgian Grand Prix, the blue and pink cars were nowhere to be seen.
I mean, man, this could be Alpine. With pink and blue, but no.
As they'd finally reached the point where the administrators need to be called in. But it wasn't just administrators. The UK's Serious Fraud Office had also been called in to investigate the team, because it later turned out that the only reason that Middlebridge had been able to buy out Brabham and get them onto the Formula 1 grid was because they'd taken a £1 million loan from a group called Landhurst Leasing. During that investigation, they later found out that Landhurst had loaned them something in the region of $6 million, of which payments on that loan were either partial or non-existent, depending on which story you read. When the fraud office investigated a little bit further than that, they found that Landhurst directors had been accepting bribes in return for these loans and later banged them up for corruption. The demise of Brabham, March, Fondmetal and Andrea Moda in 1992 must be the largest exodus from F1 in its history. There were plans to revive the team for 1993, but the assets were sold off. In 2009, a man called Franz Hilmer tried to revive the name for a new team to enter with the likes of HRT, Lotus and Virgin, but was met with a legal challenge by the Brabham family. In 2019, David Brabham, who now owns the brand as of 2024, announced that they were attempting to enter a BT62 into the World Endurance Championship, while a BT62 GT2 car was built. It's such a shame that that thing never made it into Assetto Corsa. You might have heard about the recent court case involving Brabham and the car company and other bits and pieces like that, but I'm not going to go too much into it because I don't know what's going on and I don't want to get it wrong, and if I did know anything about it, we'd be here all day, so that's something you might want to go and read at your leisure. However, because David still owns the Brabham name, the name does live on through esports. Brabham Esports is out there on iRacing and Assetto Corsa Competizione, and you might have seen recently that I have joined that outfit, which, given all the racing history stuff I do, is a pretty awesome thing to be a part of. What this means for the future, I don't know, but to be associated with such a legendary racing name, it's cool, not gonna lie. It's also a kick up the arse to do more online stuff and stream it. My dad was at the 1969 British Grand Prix and he saw Jackie Ickx in a Brabham fly through Copse Corner. 50 odd years later, I'm now associated with Brabham. That's cool, even if you don't think so. But unfortunately...
I mean, half cool. I mean, if they were still in Formula 1, it will be cooler. If they do any real sport, it will make it even cool also. But doing just e-games, that's kind of lame.
Brabham joined Lotus in not being able to continue beyond 1994. The issues encountered by both teams are eerily similar. Brabham's downturn really started when they lost factory BMW engines and uncertainty with the ownership. Lotus had things going on behind the scenes too and struggled to get factory engine deals while the likes of Williams and McLaren were able to. No stability at the top meant a drop-off later on. But I guess the fact they're no longer around adds to their legend. Lotus and Brabham. There's no other word for those teams. Legendary. So then, a look at the rise and fall of the Brabham team, and I guess a little announcement in there too. If this has taught you something new about days gone by, then do like the video so I know I've done a good job. And for more stuff like this, get subscribed with that bell on so you never miss out on anything else I do around here. Massive thanks as ever to the kind folk at Patreon for the continued support, and if you want to help keep things running around here, then a link to Patreon is in the description, along with links to Discord, socials, and other bits and pieces that you might want or need to know. Well, there's super thanks and memberships if that's more your thing. So until next time, I've been Aidan Millward. Have a great day wherever you are, and goodbye.
No. Oh shit. I mean, I don't know so much about Brabham, but I know a lot of, or more, about Lotus. But that, I mean, this could be alpin.
Vilken ostklassiker är du?
Präst är absolut
min
favorit. Det måste vara lite energi liksom. Absolut, jag ska försöka dämpa mig lite.
Herrgård, präst eller grevé, vilken ostklassiker är du?
Varför Vileda? När jag kommer hem kan vi leka krokodil på golvet. Vileda Turbo Smart Spinmo snurrar och vrider ut. Varje tryck på pedalen gör moppen torrare för enklare rengöring. Vileda, it feels great to be at home.
It didn't help.
Okay, done finally. I mean, this could be... Let's see, do we have the nice... The Alpine car open up? Let's see. I need to go... See. I need to go... Oh, nice! But I want... I need a video also. Hi. Okay. And here we have it. Oh shit. We have... Oh, we need to go down more. I mean, 2023 cars have more, 100% more colors. And here we have 2024, more black than colorful car. And here we have the one point of time when the car was actually even more colorful. But like Formula 1 likes carbon cars is how you make nowadays. I mean, this is just disgusting. Have colors on your car. You can just have this black or even the better thing, Andretti Cadillac. For Formula 1, no, these names are just nobody knows about this. But Stake, F1 team, Kick Sauber, and Visa Cash App RB Formula 1 team. This is the names that brings in money into Formula 1. Yeah, really fun. Let's see, where do we have it? I mean, you can see the car really clearly with the green, but man, this is just a joke. The biggest prank ever in Formula 1. So, and I mean, this is also kind of weird. 50% carbon. Okay. What Alpine could have done with their pink and blue car. But why do they have the pink? So many different colors. Okay. Let's see. We can go away from that. Yeah, quiet. Is there anything more fun to be watched? Probably not. But like I said, with the prediction of Australia, Max will probably be P1, hopefully Leclerc P2. And it will probably be more likely P3 for Perez, but seeing Lando Norris or Piastri will be nice. First point for Albon and Ricciardo could also be fun to witness. Maybe a crash between Russell and Hamilton. It could. Maybe happen. Let's see. It's Wednesday today. So it's tomorrow, then it's practice. And then we will see. Can McLaren keep getting more points than Mercedes? Hopefully they will. Oh yeah, who did say that? The race said that. Was it Australia and Japan will be
McLaren?
Let's see. Where do we have that? No. Where do we have that information? Yeah, here we have it. They mentioned that Australia and Japan should be good tracks for McLaren. So the high for maybe a win for Lando Norris in Japan could happen. But at least podiums or a podium in Australia. And yeah, Mercedes will, they're still washed. So they, man, could this year be the first year with no podiums also? Last year, no win. And this year, no podium. And maybe, let's see, 2024. So 2025, first year when they don't get any points. There could be something. Let's see, I could, let's see. Yeah, London. Let's see. Oh, if Ricardo succeed to get 1 point or more, he will be P13. Or if he get 2 points, P11. Man, that Hulkenberg got that point is so... Albon or Tsunoda should have got the points. That sheet I did with Magnusson was... I mean, breaking the rules, ruin the race for everyone else, and then your team might get points because of that. Why celebrate that? I mean, I heard many complaints that Perez did some not good things against Albon, and then ruined his race, and then got 5 seconds, and that didn't do anything. Almost same thing. The times, all the penalties he got didn't do anything. For him, he did a lot, but nothing for his teammate that he helped. But yeah, I really hoping for some more points for Visa Cash Up. Oh! Wait. Let's see. Oh my god, oh my god, it must be seen. We go to this one. Then we change this one. Where do we have it? We should pause the game also. But here, they have God damn it. Before, they didn't have any name for Sauber or AlphaTauri. I mean, come on, it's God damn it. It's Stake Formula 1 team Kick Sauber is the name, and then we have Visa Cash App RB Formula 1 team. I mean, is this really so hard for God damn it Google or who's doing this to just name the team right? But interesting. They are now succeeding to at least name the team. Before it was blank. Oh, can I have done a... let's see. Can I have saved that? Where do we have... Can this be named? There we have it. Nice. Okay, how do I find... Go away. There we have it. Come on. Zoom in nice. Okay, you must... Okay. There we have it. We have nothing. And this I took... on a Wednesday last week. Yeah, Wednesday last week. So 3 days after the Saudi Arabia race, it still didn't have any name. So fucking, so funny. And now they have changed it to AlphaTauri and Sauber. Oh my god, that's funny. See, and we change back because we must show the... There we have it. Sauber and AlphaTauri. Man. Such a good name giving when even the people that are doing this doesn't care. let's see, don't Formula 1, let's see, this is Formula 3, Formula 2, drivers team. Okay, here we have Kick Sauber, just RB. Och Formula 1 website also lazy. Why just the RB? What the fuck is this? Is it really so hard to just say Visa Cash App RB Formula 1 team? And Stake Formula 1 team Kick Sauber. And then just see, Stake F1 team Kick Sauber. Oh, now I want to see. Yeah, they do it. Or at least in that information. Here we have F, an F and a 1. In the Visa Cash App, they spell it out, the 1 and the team. Eller, the Formula 1. Eller, the Formula and 1 are spelled out. Because I realized when I did my own prediction where teams and stuff will end up. I realized some of the team spell it out and some just being lazy. So Oracle Red Bull Racing. Scuderia Ferrari, they are just normal names. They have 1 and Formula. What? Oh my god, this is going deep. They spell Formula out, but not the 1. They are just F1. They have just F1. F1. And they are just Fino Racing. They have F1. And this, and they spelled out 1 Formula 1. And also team. How many have actually team also? They have just F1 and team. They have also team. They didn't have the racing. They have team. Team. Also team. Team. Scuderia Ferrari have not a team. Oh, they have racing. Oh my god, hype. So Williams and Red Bull have racing. And that's hype. What more can I be looking at? Do I have a... That there's a Formula 1 team spelled out. Huh. Let's see. Is that one? Is that the right one? Yes. And then I can try to... Now I want to see the... Okay, that's wrong place. There we have it. If I go to... say Formula 1. If I go to the wiki site. Can I see? I mean, I've seen this before. I don't print screen of this place. Teams. Teams 2024. Yeah, there was on the wiki, because I realized on the wiki they have failed with the Visa Cash App RB F1 team, because for some reason they were lazy. Why are people so lazy? It's so easy to Visa Cash App RB and then you spell Formula 1 out and then team. It's easy. Say Williams Racing, Red Bull Racing, team. I mean, is this name too long to have? Is spelled out VC Orb 01. Okay, that's enough for today. And well, let's see what well, I don't know if anything fun will be watched tomorrow, but I will probably remove that wall, or at least put in the window on the other side, like a glass window, or maybe killing that slime. Or if we go to the... Can I go... Man, that's a fail. What's a fail? God damn it. Ran too long. Fixing up this wall, or fixing up the wall is done, it's just removing. God damn it. Removing the temporary... Yeah, what can you call it? I mean, it's a wall, but... Yeah, and I have removed... Okay, I have not removed all the water, but most of the water. So this... Okay, it looks like I have more water to remove. But this will be a tomorrow problem, what I will be doing, not a today problem. So that will be done. And of that tomorrow. Oh my god. Ground. Trying to scare. Just rotten flesh. see. I have 2 more of these pickaxe, then I maybe have 1 more of these. Then some repairing will happen, and then I need to buy more. Oh my god, what's that called? A thing that I've been in the nether for a long time. Quartz. Some can these tubes, or what you can call them, can be done. But that will happen another day. Like, this stuff will be continues in tomorrow. So until then, I will say bye. And hopefully more fun stuff. Yeah, probably not, because people, media and all the stuff will talk about Christian Hornet and Red Bull and the Doomsday, and the team is finished. Max will move to Mercedes for some reason. Why? Because they are so good. They're so good. Hamilton left the team. Yeah. So Max will definitely move to that great team. So until then.